Fans of legendary actress and entrepreneur Suzanne Somers have reacted with worry about her health, based on her appearance in some recent live streams on Instagram and Facebook Live. In this video, we'll take a look at what's potentially going on, as well as Somers' history of health issues and scares. Her recent videos. Suzanne Somers and her husband, Alan Hamill, often film videos to sell health supplements and related products, and they'll often live stream feeds from their house. But recently, fans have noticed Suzanne seems to have lost some of her usual pep and vigor. This has caused rampant speculation about her health and overall well-being. Some fans posted on the videos noting she looks somber and potentially sad. They noted that even a few months ago, she looked much more vibrant and happier. One person commented that they love her, but they're worried for her well-being. In another video, which featured Somers' legs in the foreground of the shot, viewers commented they felt her legs looked bruised. They also speculated she hasn't looked right for a while, and that she might be trying to look happy for the camera but really isn't. One commenter even went as far as saying, "Somebody stop them. She's definitely struggling. Is it that important to push these products? Enough already." Of course, these comments are based on subjective ideas on what's really going on with Suzanne. It's possible she's doing just fine, but she moves and talks a little slower as she ages. That's a pretty common thing. And perhaps she also isn't that excited about being on camera trying to sell beauty and health supplements when she used to be on camera acting in hit shows and movies for a living. But that certainly wouldn't be that much of a cause for concern. At the same time, she does have a history of health-related issues, and she's been a controversial voice in the world of alternative medicine and healing. Her 2020 fall. Suzanne did have a confirmed injury in 2020, and it's possible she's still recovering. She suffered a fall down the stairs at her home. The incident left her with a fractured hip, a black eye, and multiple bruises. In an interview with Closer Weekly, Somers described the traumatic fall. She said that she and her husband Alan were at the top of their bedroom stairs. She was holding his hand when he suddenly slipped, accidentally dragging her down the stairs with him as he tumbled down. She told the publication the next thing she knew, they had gone down 50 steps and she had broken her neck in addition to the injuries we mentioned earlier. Despite the severity of the injuries, Somers remained optimistic and shared updates on her recovery with her fans and followers on social media. In an Instagram post, she wrote, quote, "I'm so grateful to have the support and love of my husband, family, and friends during this time. I'm taking it one day at a time, but I'm determined to get back on my feet." She also posted a slightly tongue-in-cheek message saying, "It's 2 weeks since I took a tumble on a set of stairs and lost my footing. Women of a certain age, don't lose your balance." Somers also shared that she was undergoing physical therapy to aid in her recovery and regain her mobility. She posted videos of herself working with her physical therapist and doing exercises to strengthen her muscles and improve her range of motion. As a health advocate, Somers has always placed a strong emphasis on the importance of physical fitness and healthy living. Despite her injuries, she remained committed to her active lifestyle and worked hard to get back on track. She continued to share her workout routines with her followers, looking to show that age is just a number and it's never too late to prioritize your health and wellness. Somers' bout with cancer. Suzanne Somers' battle with cancer began when she was in her 30s. She was diagnosed with skin cancer, but according to reports, she was able to fully recover. Then in 2000, cancer reared its ugly head again when she was diagnosed with stage 2 breast cancer. She opted for alternative treatments instead of traditional chemotherapy and radiation therapy, which she felt would be too harsh on her body. She underwent a lumpectomy and then turned to alternative treatments like Iscador, a mistletoe extract, and a ketogenic diet. She also opted not to go for reconstruction surgery at first, but 11 years later she underwent a process called cell-assisted lipotransfer, which helped reconstruct her breast. She was actually the first woman in the United States to have that process done to her. Despite some criticism from the medical community, Somers remained steadfast in her belief that alternative treatments could be effective in fighting cancer. In her book, Knockout: Interviews with Doctors Who Are Curing Cancer, she interviewed doctors who shared her view that alternative treatments could be a viable option for cancer patients. Suzanne's battles with Three's Company. Suzanne has battled more than just cancer and tumbles down the stairs. In her youth, she had to go from being the star of one of the top sitcoms of the late 70s and 80s to being unfairly fired and blackballed because of it. It started when her hit show, Three's Company, was in the middle of filming its 5th season, and Somers was potentially the most famous person on TV. And it just so happened that it was time for her to renegotiate her contract. The network had originally offered her a lowball sum of $3,500 an episode for the first season since she was an unknown actress. And since Suzanne was new and wanted the part badly, the network knew it could pay her a tiny amount. But over the course of the first few seasons, as the show became a hit and she became a star, they bumped up her pay tenfold to $30,000 an episode. And while this was a huge sum of money, especially back then, it was still outrageously low as compared to the male stars on TV. Men were making far more than their female counterparts across most industries, and it was showcased perhaps no better than on TV and film. What made it particularly frustrating for women like Suzanne was that she was clearly the biggest driver in keeping and expanding TV audiences. Yet co-star John Ritter was making 5 times her salary. Salary negotiations. So in 1980, when it was time for Suzanne to renegotiate, she figured she was owed a lot more than she was being currently paid, and that she had the bargaining chips to make it happen. At the time, John and their other co-star, Joyce DeWitt, had already renegotiated their contracts, so they were locked in. What Suzanne didn't know at the time was that Ritter was making $150,000 an episode. She assumed they were all making the same amount, so she came to them with an idea. She said she would ask for a big pay raise to $150K per episode, and if she got it, she'd split the increase evenly with them. She was also planning to ask for a piece of the back end so she'd get residuals when the show went into syndication. Suzanne sent in her husband Alan to negotiate on her behalf. He was a former TV producer, so he knew the ropes of how these negotiations worked. She told him to play hardball, presuming at the least they'd meet her demands halfway. Or the worst they could do is say no and keep her at the $30,000 an episode she was currently getting. What she didn't see coming was that the network was not only going to say no, they were going to fire her on the spot. Why they fired Suzanne. The primary reason they fired Suzanne was sexism. Back then, it was 100% acceptable for companies to blatantly pay female employees far less. And while that gap still exists today, it was much larger and more openly accepted in those days. The first element had nothing to do with Suzanne or Three's Company. The network had just completed a contract negotiation with the 2 stars of Laverne and Shirley, Penny Marshall and Cindy Williams, and they had given in to the salary demands of both women, so they felt nervous about setting a precedent. They didn't want actresses across the board to hear they were starting to pay women more and start asking for raises or equal pay. So they were already ready to send a message to Alan Hamill and Suzanne. There was no room in their eyes for Suzanne's salary to be bumped up. Either way, her husband had to come home that day and give her the bad news. Suzanne later looked back saying, "Never think you're not replaceable. Rule number 1. Now it's time to hear from you. Do you think Suzanne really has some health issues going on, or do you think her live streams just show a woman who's getting older? Let us know in the comments section below.